All right, everyone, welcome to Tuesday Talks. Hey, just a tribute to Van Halen there real fast. Wanted to play one of his most iconic songs. Van Halen, unfortunately, we hear the bad news, the unfortunate news of Van Halen, who was an absolute superstar, a huge contributor to the music world, a Hall of Famer in the rock and roll, a Hall of Famer and one of the most talented, most gifted individuals. And if you've ever seen him play the guitar, just unbelievable. And today with Van Halen. So we wanted to just play a quick song here from Van Halen and give a tribute to an amazing individual. So anyway, wanted to welcome all of you here. We've got a great program. Those of you that are joining us for the very first time, we started this program in, March. It seems like just yesterday, and it's crazy that it's already, almost 7 months now since the start of the lockdown, the quarantine, and what have you. And we started this podcast show called Tuesday Talks. Normally, what we do is we reach out to people. We do live events. We go to hotels, big events. We do convention centers and hotels, offices, wherever we can get a group of people together is where we normally do this. However, with COVID, we're, changing and adapting to what we need to still continue to do and get the message out for what we do and what we. So I'm going to go ahead and start my PowerPoint here real fast, and then hopefully you guys can take some really good notes. All right, there we go. And I want you to know that today I've got a very special guest speaker because this guy here is crushing it right now. He was a young guy, right? Like many of you guys in here, and he had a tough upbringing. He wasn't born into a rich family, right? I mean, if you knew his story, it could probably be a movie. Okay, and even when he started as an entrepreneur, I remember the days this guy would walk up to me and pick my brain and ask me all these questions, and he had doubts. This guy had doubts, but guess what? But he never gave up. It's okay to have doubts, just don't quit, okay? And so I want you to know that this guy, born and raised in Mexico, okay, immigrated to this country at a very young age. I mean, 16, you guys, you're still like a baby, man, So imagine, I look at my 25-year-old and I think he's still a baby. But you know what? That's what parents do. Like, my parents still treat me like I'm a little baby. Can you imagine? I'm a grown man. Every time I see my mom, she's like, have you eaten yet, honey? Have you eaten yet? No, Mom, I'm a grown man, but I haven't eaten, man. I need a bottle or something, right? No. Love my mom and dad. They're amazing. But yeah, but that's what parents do, right? But let me just tell you, he was a restaurant server. Anybody ever been a restaurant server? Yeah, I was a restaurant server myself, right? I worked at a place called Bob's Big Boy. You guys ever heard of Bob's Big Boy? Yeah, I worked at Bob's Big Boy, man. And then from there, I moved up and I went into a seafood restaurant, doing the same amount of work, but I was getting better tips because now I'm in a seafood restaurant, right? But 13 years now in the financial service industry. He's now got offices in 25 states, guys. How's that? Okay, why? Because he was persistent. The guy's resilient. The guy has I love his temperament, okay? And I just want you to know he's one of the most likable guys. Just love hanging out with him. I've traveled the world with this dude, right? Married to his wife, Lisa. Wow. When you meet her, now you'll understand why he's such a good salesman. You know he's a good salesman because he closed Lisa, okay? Seriously, she is amazing, all right? And he's made millions of dollars. So let me just tell you, I don't pay this guy to be here right now. I called him up and I said, hey, listen, brother, I want you to jump on my podcast and, just talk to this audience. And he's like, he didn't say, all right, what's my speaking fee? You know what, this is going to cost you a steak dinner? He said, absolutely. So he's here today to give you some nuggets. I hope you guys will take some really good notes. And I'll tell you what, normally, as you guys know, I have to help people out, like, ask them questions and, kind of lead the conversation. But this guy's spoken in front of tens of thousands of people, big stages, arenas. Like, seriously, like he's spoken in like 30, 40,000, arenas. And so, look, I don't have to lead this conversation. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to give this guy a big round of applause, and then I want to turn off my mic and my video and let him take it away. So everybody, let's give him a big round of applause. Mario Bayona, baby. What's up, Mario?
What's up, John?
What's up, Big Dog? What's happening?
Man, you're looking good.
Hey, Fu Manchu, brother. Fu Manchu.
Yeah. I feel like if Mr. Miyagi used just for men, it would be just like that.
I like that. From you guys now on, you're all going to call me Miyagi. Miss Sensei Miyagi, all right? I'm kidding.
Hey, thank you, John, for having me. And it's my honor and my pleasure speaking to your group. I was just having a meeting with my organization. I snuck out of it for a couple hours to talk to you, and I'm super thrilled and excited to potentially add some value here to the conversation. And I believe I got until 7:45, 8 o'clock. Is that right?
You got until 8 o'clock. Crush it, brother. I'm just going to turn off my mic and my video and take it away.
Okay, thank you. Well, first and foremost, it's excited to be on this call here with all of you. It's exciting times, yet is interesting times. I just think about everything that we're going through as a country right now through the pandemic. I had a trip booked for tomorrow to go to Tulum, and plans have been canceled because there's a hurricane level 4 hitting the city tonight, and there will be no flights going out there. And guess what? In this era, one of the things that we've mastered is to not panic. We just pivot. And a lot of you guys that are in business, or you have a job and you're trying to get into business, or you're a part of a company where there was a lot of uncertainty when this hits, you got to remember that in business, you cannot panic. You got to pivot. You cannot panic. You got to pivot. And right now is pivoting time. And I think that this is the greatest thing that's happened to majority of people. I run a business in the financial industry that I've been running now for 13 years. Like John said, I came from Mexico when I was 16. I grew up in Acapulco. I spoke very little English. I came to the United States as a tourist. I came to Disneyland for 5 days, and I just never left because I found that this was the happiest place on earth. And I got the opportunity to be introduced to this firm when I was 19. I had just turned 19. I had just gotten all my legal residency figured out, my social security. And a friend of mine had walked into a gathering and invited me to a meeting to show me a corporate overview of what the company was looking for. And they were expanding. It was in 2007. And guess what? Everything just made sense. I just knew that if I was in the financial industry, I would know how money works. And if I knew how money works, I could just get ahead financially a little bit more than everybody else. And then I could go on and help my family. You see, we didn't come to the United States because we had so much money in Mexico. We didn't know we wanted to bring it to the United States. I came here because my family struggled so much. And my dad had to move to the United States when I was 6. And by the time I was 16, my dad said, you will have a better opportunity living here. So you need to come visit me and you need to come live with me. And I moved, and I grew up seeing my parents fighting over money all the time. And I knew one day I didn't want money to be the reason why my wife and I got divorced, or why my wife and I will get in arguments or fights. And I can tell that I'm happily married now for 3 years. I'm married to the best wife ever. My wife is my right-hand woman in business, and I'm her right-hand man. I'm the pilot, she's the co-pilot, and I think together we're running a good business. By the end, I would say by the summer of next year, our company will do over $10 million in sales. We started in 2019. We did about 3.7 million. Right now, when this month is over in October, we should be crossing over 6 million. So it's been like a 70% growth in our business during COVID. And a lot of my friends, family members, coworkers, friends of mine from the cigar shop have been asking me, hey, Mario, how's business? And I say, man, business is ever than it's ever been. Business, it's ever than it's ever been. And they say, really, how's that? I say, man, for thousands of reasons. Number one, our business went into Zoom. And I want to talk to you right now. My topic, what I want to share with you today is, why do I feel like it's the best era ever to be in business if you're in the right business? I know there are some businesses that have taken a toll, but hey, guess what? Don't panic, pivot. What if you could come up with an innovative idea that can boost your business? Remember, entrepreneurs are problem solvers, not victims of problems. So when this COVID-19, my entire business was office-based. Everybody came to an office a couple times a week. We met all our clients in our office or at their homes. All our meetings were in person. People drove into our offices, And when this hit, I was afraid to death. I didn't know what was going to happen. I feel blessed that I've been able to save money throughout my 20s, and we've made, I could say, some really good income. I've made millions and millions of dollars in my 20s, and I was able to save a lot. So I was not necessarily financially stressed, but I was business stressed. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what the future of my business was going to hold. And little did I know, it was the biggest blessing that ever happened. And let me tell you why. The first thing that occurred, I started having a lot of extra time in my hands, like a lot of you do right now. The problem is, what is it that you're doing with the extra time you have in your hands? Some of us, we're in social media. And I think that's the first problem. I don't do social media. I do business media. I'm not trying to get more followers. I don't need you to come and like my pictures. I just need you to know, to me, social media is a platform where I get to display the success of our agents. It's a platform where I get a chance to meet people. It's a platform where somebody gets to see. I think today's business card is your social media. And one of my frustrations with social media is how fake it is and how many people have this beautiful life in social media, and then you meet them in the real life, and it's nowhere near what they display on their Instagram or on their Facebook. But I had a lot of time on my hands. And the first thing that I did when I had time on my hands is I started doing research about our industry, and I started trying to get creative and innovative, and what can we do differently to survive these new times. And as I was Googling it, and as I was researching it, and as I was going through all these articles, I found an article that talked about Latinos and their financial, and Latinos and the financial state where Latinos are in the United States. And I ended up reading like a 45-page article by a senator. And then I went on and researched another document that was done by a real estate group that wanted to empower Latinos in business and in the Latino community. And I started in Hispanics and all this. And I found my true passion. And I tell you, I believe the day you find your passion is the day when you no longer get tired when you're at work, is the day that you no longer dread working weekends, is the day that you no longer dread working 14, 15 hours a day. I tell you one thing, I wake up and I suit up every morning, and I know I'm about to get in on an $80 a week, and I'm willing to work an 80-hour week so I never have to work a 40-hour week for another man. Because I know that 80-hour week is gonna go build my legacy, my family. He's gonna build our organization. I'm gonna be able to be an example to my community that so much needs it. As I did research, I realized that the average American household had $160,000 in savings, while the average Latino household had only $20,000 in savings. I realized that 29% of Americans usually leave an inheritance to their heirs, yet less than 5% of Latino homes leave an inheritance to their children. I realized that only 22% of Latinos have a retirement account in this country, and of those that have a retirement account, the average balance is $26,000. I also realized that 8 in 10 Americans overestimate the price of life insurance. I also realized that 30% of people in our nation today, that you could look at them and think they're successful because they have a new car and they put in social media that they were just in a trip, 30% of them don't even have $1,000 to their name. And they're doing everything on credit cards. And we're now in the world where everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses, because you see that guy traveling, and you see that your coworker doing this, and you see your neighbor putting these lights and doing this for Halloween decorations in their home. And you try to keep up with people that are not going to be there with you when you need them the most. And the reality is a lot of people are living above their means, and people were dying depending on this $1,200 stimulus check that they got. And what a blessing that they did, because many of them deserve it. But also a lot of people were not making their mortgage payment. They said that, I believe it was in July, 40% of Americans that own a home did not make their mortgage payment. And I realized the financial crisis that our country was going through, and this became more than a business. This became a crusade for mine. I truly believe that Americans need to be educated how finances work. And schools are not doing it. Jobs are not doing it. High schools are not doing it. Universities are not doing it. And most financial advisors won't even reach out to the people that need it the most, because they don't have enough money to their name for them to make their time worth something. So this information keeps getting the rich richer, the poor poorer. And where is middle America at? Who's educating us? The answer is no one. And I put it in my back. And by the way, you probably heard this from John a little bit earlier, but I'm telling you, this doesn't get old. And I talk about this every single day. And I'm on 8 to 10 to 15 meetings for my business every day. And I don't get tired. And my voice rise and my passion comes out. You want to know why? Because I really freaking mean it. I believe us as the human race are more divided now than we've ever been before. And I can tell you one of the main reasons why division is happening in our country so much is due to lack of financial resources. The fact that some people got more resources than others forces the people without resources to use extreme things like stealing, like robbing, like committing crime, like doing certain things. By the way, because of that, when they end up meeting someone that is in that circle and they have a kid, that kid gets born into that environment, and that environment breeds a certain kind of person, and it becomes a revolving door where people stay in this, and people stay in poverty for generations and generations and generations, and something's got to change. And I believe that it starts with financial education. I believe it starts with awareness. I believe it starts by reaching out into the inner cities. I believe it starts by us stop discriminating people according to the color of their skin or the income that they make. And I think that it's time that finances start being taught in schools. You know that only 6 states in our nation teach financial education, yet over 45%, over 45 different states are mandated to are mandating students to go through a sexual education course. It's unbelievable. But I want to tell you this. I want to tell you a few things. I'm going to go through 10 things that I believe have changed my business completely the last couple of months. But the first one is I found my crusade. I found my passion. I want to change the face of the financial industry. You see, Latinos are supposed, according to the workforce, we're supposed to be 17% of the financial industry should be a Hispanic advisor. You know the percentage of advisors in our industry that are from Hispanic backgrounds? Less than 12%. Yet, when it comes down to agriculture and farming, we're more than 28%. When it comes down to services like hotels, restaurants, servers, and all that, we're about 30%. When it's construction, we're over 38%. So all the jobs that pay very little, the Hispanic community is super involved in them. And all the jobs that pay the big bucks, like medicine, doctors, nurses, the medical field, technology, and finances, very few Latinos are in it. And many of you, let me ask you a question. Is the vehicle that you're at a vehicle that can help you where you want to go? I realize the problem with the majority of people is not their potential, but is their vehicle. There's great potential inside of people in the wrong vehicle, and because of that, they never get to their destination. And I feel blessed because I don't think I'm the smartest guy. I don't think I'm the best speaker. I don't think I'm the hardest working guy. I don't think I'm the smartest guy. I just got a chance to get in the right vehicle, and my family's life changed forever. My parents I retired my dad when I was 22. I've been able to take care of my parents financially, my mom and my dad, for the last 10 years. My wife and I live a dream life, and I believe it's because we're a part of an industry that I think is the most powerful industry in the world. And 10 things that happen. One of the things that I love about this new era called the Zoom era. If you guys are watching basketball, you're seeing them playing without fans. And there's a slogan that says a whole new game. It's a whole new game. Well, let me tell you, the business world right now, it's a whole new game. If you're in the business world a year ago and you come into the business world today, you will not even recognize what the business world is now. You got to remember that you got to know this, and you got to remember this, and you got to adapt to a whole new game. It's a whole new era. My favorite part about the fact that all my meetings are on Zoom is that I get to go, my appointments are quicker. I remember the days where I would go to someone's home and I would say, so when would be a good time for us to meet again? Will next week or the following week be better? Or I remember when I used to make phone calls and set up appointments to get to go see someone, and we'll set up an appointment for 3, 4, 5 days out from the phone call. Well, guess what? In today's world, I make a phone call and I'm doing that appointment with the person that I used to talk to either the same day or the next day. When I show them something, I get to circle back around them in a day or two. So now the time frame of me sharing information with people between the first contact and the actual presentation of what I do, it's literally 24 to 48 hours, where before was taking a week or two, and the reschedule rate was super high because they either had to come to my office or I had to go to their home, or we had to meet in a neutral place, and there was traffic involved. There was changes that could happen. Now anybody can just click a button on their cell phone and log into a meeting, and we're literally can have the same effectiveness anywhere we want to at any time. It's like the Amazon experience of the financial industry. The second thing that I love is the fact that, one of the things that we do a lot is life insurance. It's crazy. I literally thought that insurance companies were going to shut down their new applications due to the fact that COVID was a new thing. And we didn't know who was going to die and not die. And so many people got infected with it. And instead of that, the insurance industry actually reacted the opposite way. They became more lenient and more understanding. And they said, you see, majority of people don't want a nurse coming into their home because she could bring the virus. So what we're going to do is we're going to do literally a prescription check. And according to their medical records, 8 out of 10 people that apply for life insurance, we're not going to require them to even do a medical exam. Are you kidding me? Do you know that one of the #1 causes of people not following through with an insurance policy was the conflict of them getting a nurse to come to their home? And now they don't even need to do a medical exam. My business exploded. Everybody's taking advantage out of the fact that people don't need to have somebody come into their home and take their blood and urine. Literally, somebody can just look at the records, and according to all the data that they get, they can then estimate whether they're going to be approved or not approved. The third thing is this. I had to get in the referral game. Look, in my industry, in what I do, I don't charge for my services. When I say that, I don't charge for my service, but I do charge for my time. I don't charge for my services, but I charge for my time. And I don't charge fees, I charge referrals. And I realized that when someone became my client and they didn't refer me to other people, I was leaving families that could be helped on the table. And I was so focused on giving the best service to this client that I forgot to get the referral for the next 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 clients. And I realized when somebody loves an experience, they tend to refer it to somebody else. So if I was not getting referrals, it was because I wasn't asking. So when I started asking for referrals, I started realizing a lot of people were saying, you know what, Mario, let me talk to them first. And it became a game. It became a game because guess what? I'm not the pushy guy. I was like, you know what? Go talk to them first. But I saw in their eagerness to want to talk to their referrals, how excited they were about the plan that I started them with. And I knew they were going to remain my clients. But not just that, I was able to build trust with my clients faster because I always gather the name and the number. And I made them a promise that until they gave me the green light to call their referrals, I will not call them. And when they notice, I followed up and say, hey, Alma, hey, John, can I call your referrals? And they say, Mario, go ahead and call them. And I called them. They're like, man, Mario was a man of his word. And when I called them and John said, no, please don't call them. And I didn't call them. They're like, man, Mario's a man of his word. And I realized that by me gathering referrals and communicating with my clients back and forth to see if I could call the referrals or not, became a process that developed trust quicker. The fourth thing that really started changing in my business that I've seen a crazy shift is my expenses are lowered drastically. I remember my credit card bill in April. When my credit card bill showed up, my American Express bill showed up, it was $6,900, like in some change. I couldn't believe it. I went to my wife, I'm like, honey, is anything wrong? She's like, what are you talking about? She goes, our entire business expenses last month, outside of our office lease and rent, was $6,900. She goes, and I said, babe, it's like $25,000 usually. It was $6,900. She goes, well, we're not eating anywhere. Well, we're not flying everywhere to go talk to our different offices and stuff. And it hit me. I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect time to save the most money I've ever saved in my life. Because I ain't no going to no restaurants. By the way, I built a garden in the back of my house. We're now growing, but today I had one of the best meals ever. I literally, all the veggies from my garden, we grew them. We put them with some ground turkey. And I had a chef that came and did all that stuff for us. And it was delicious. And now my wife learned to cook. And now we're starting to have dinner together as a family and eating the own stuff that we're growing. So we control what goes in our body. But not just that, we're saving a ton of money because we ain't got money to spend going out there to expensive restaurants like we used to do, or taking clients to a meeting here and a meeting there and coffee here and dinner there. It's awesome. It's the best time to save more money than you ever saved before. Because I'm telling you, with everything that's happening in the stock market, there's going to be an opportunity for us to capitalize on the uncertainty of others. And I encourage you that you're stashing your chips away. The next thing that I really saw in our business is this. I stopped focusing on the money. To be honest with you, last 7 days, the company paid me close to $51,000 in the last 7 days. I'm making more money now than I've ever made before, and I feel blessed. And I feel like because I'm blessed, I got to be a blessing unto others. we're getting ready to give a very big donation to a nonprofit foundation so we can support a lot of the families that are not going to have a Thanksgiving meal. And we help our church with sending boxes around the world for kids to open up some gifts in Christmas. But regardless of the matter, what I'm trying to say here is this: the money's not my motivator anymore. You see, it gets to a point when most people start in business, it's all about the money. Then what I realized, then for me, went from it's all about the money to it's all about competing and wanting to be the best version of myself. And now, sounds weird because I'm only 32 and I'm saying this, it's all about how much impact can I make in the families that I come across and in the agents that are in our organization. And I tell you, it's changed everything. The relationships, the way we approach the business, everything's changed. I'm not even focused on the money. I'm just focused on the activity. You see, the other day, literally yesterday, I sat down with someone and I helped them start a retirement savings plan for $100 a month. You see, majority of people that are in my stature or caliber or run my size of business, they're very picky and selective of who they sit down with. If somebody doesn't have $250,000 ready to invest or $1 million, they won't even give them the time of day. And I'm sitting down with a 23-year-old Latina girl that is a substitute teacher at a high school, and he's helping her parents pay for their mortgage because the dad is in dialysis. And she wants to start saving for retirement, and all she can afford is $100, and we're starting $100 retirement savings. But I know the power of that because I know that less than 30% of Latinos have a retirement plan, and the average retirement plan is $22,000. So if I can get this young girl with a little habit of saving money, as she gets raises or as she gets promoted to become the main teacher, as she makes more, she'll save more. Because savings is not, hear me, savings is not an action. Savings is not an amount. Savings is a habit. Some people got it and some people don't. And I didn't do it for the money. I did it for the crusade that I was now going to help this little young woman starting to get her life together. I want you to understand one thing. Focus on the activity, not just the results. Focus on the activity. I believe in something called sweat equity. I know that if I work hard, not everybody's going to say yes. Not everybody's going to buy into my business. Not everybody's going to buy into my products. But if I get myself in front of enough people, enough will. I have a little saying in my mind that some will, some won't, so what? At least they know. Some will, some won't, so what? At least they know. Some will, some won't, so what? At least they know. And some people say, Mario, you got to have standards. I do got standards, but my standards right now are not important. What's important to me is changing the face of the financial industry and educating these people that have no idea. And yes, usually the broker they are, the more skeptical they are. But it's up to me with my expertise to understand that they're skeptical and change their way of thinking and let them understand that they're skeptical for a reason. And if they remain that way, nothing's going to change in their life. Anyway, sorry, I'm a little fired up. I hope you can feel it. The next thing that I want to tell you is I started studying the numbers of guys in my industry more than ever. I wanted to know if what was happening to me was normal or was I by myself in an island. And for the first 30 days, even though our income was going up, I was afraid that it was going to end. So I started looking at resources and I said, hey, I know a couple of my friends I call them running mates. We always keep each other accountable. Like, how's business? Hey, what are you doing that's working? And this and this and that. And I was calling them, how's business? They're like, man, it's better than ever. More clients approved than ever. Man, my greatest income month ever. Man, I just developed another 2 brokers or whatever. And they were telling me all the success they were having. And I realized that it was the greatest times ever. And shame on me if I was scared or if I was worried during the time where my business exploding the fastest. And I called companies and I said, are the submissions of applications down or up? And they're like, Mario, we're up double digits year to year. This is the most applications we've ever received. I talked to one of our providers. They said, Mario, we're receiving over 1,000 life insurance applications every single day. That's one of the 77 carriers we work with. And I was like, okay, so this is the best time ever. And if it's the best time ever, I'm going to make sure that I didn't give my best early on. Hey, how many of you guys know of a guy named Bill Russell? Here, I got a better one for you. How many of you guys have ever heard of a guy named Michael Jordan? Any of you guys know of a guy named Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, if you watch the documentary that he rolled out, The Last Dance, during the 95-96 season, 96-97 season, he negotiated the highest paid basketball contract in the history of the world. It was an astronomical number that had never been seen before in sports. And it was $30 million the first year, $33 million the second year. You hear that? And Michael Jordan, arguably one of the greatest athletes of all time, at his prime, winning championships, being the biggest face or the most influential face in the world at his time, was making $30 to $33 million a year in his prime. I don't know if you guys know of a guy named Mike Conley. He's an amazing, outstanding player. He's never got a technical foul, great point guard. I don't even, to be honest, this is kind of embarrassing because I'm a basketball guy. He's traded teams about twice in the last 3 years. I don't even know what team he plays with. Ready? He makes $30 million a year. And he's never even made the All-Star game. Why? It's a different time. It's a different era. Some of the greatest players just played in the wrong era. They didn't get paid for the era they were in. It's kind of interesting. Now you have this average and ordinary guy coming in and making 30, 40 million a year. It's a normal thing. Now there's players signing $200 million contracts. Patrick Mahomes just signed a $500 million contract as a quarterback in the NFL, which stands for not for long. And majority of that money is guaranteed. Well, how about back in the day? How about back in the day when Joe Montana was winning all those 4 championships? Was Joe Montana had a potential to make $500 million in 10 years? Of course he didn't, because he played at the wrong time. And you know one thing that I noticed? A lot of people in my industry, they maxed out at the wrong time. Their best days were not during the industry's best days. And I'm 32. I'm vibrant. I'm fired up. I'm more excited than I've ever been before. But I was a little tired. I was a little bit like already built my agency. I don't need to do the day-to-day work. I kind of just got to lead people, manage people. I got to orchestrate things. I got to put on events. And you know what? I decided to put my builder's hat on. I decided to roll my sleeves. I decided to put on my shorts because I don't got to wear pants to go to work anymore because you only see my upper body. And guess what? And I decided to hit the ground running. And I was not going to waste a window of time in my life where I could change my family's last name forever and for generations. So when I studied the numbers of the industry, I got competitive. I wanted to understand competition drives performance. But do me a favor, compete, don't compare. Compete, don't compare. Learn, don't blame. A lot of people, well, they're doing this because this, and this. Don't blame others for what they're doing. Don't compare yourself to others because of what they're doing. Learn from others so then you can always take the good from people and leave the bad from people. But I want to tell you that you are a product of your associations. If you're hanging around 10 people that are doing better than you, you will eventually do better. If you're hanging around 10 people that are doing worse than you, you will eventually do worse. What you order at the table has a lot to do with who's sitting on the table. Have you realized that when you go to a dinner and everybody there orders a glass of wine and you want a beer, you kind of feel out of place, you order wine? Have you noticed that if you're ever at a restaurant and everybody in your table is super fit and yoked and they're like gym rats and they're like just crazy into fitness, do you see how you order a plate that is a little bit cleaner than usual? But when you're hanging out with your buddies from college who are drinking and partying and all that, you're ordering pizza. Sometimes who you sit at the table with will determine what the table will order. Be careful the table you sit in. Be careful the people you're around because you're a product of your environment. Compete with the best and associate with the best. That was number 7. Number 8, you got to have a morning routine. I'll tell you, mine is not very complicated. There's all these gurus that come in, wake up, run in the ocean, cold shower, this, that. Awesome. Everybody works differently. I want you to identify a productive morning routine. I know that when I wake up, my day is going to be predetermined by what I do in the first hour of me being awake. So my thing is when I wake up, literally 2 alarms. First one, I know I'm going to not get up. And my second alarm, when that one hits, is 3, 2, 1, up. I get up, I go down, I do my pre-workout, and I'm not even thinking, you guys. Well, I brush my teeth and my deodorant. I don't even think. I go outside and I just start either walking or running, depending on how I feel, and I just start getting my first exercise in. By the time that I come back, my coffee's already ready. I pour myself a coffee. I have my 36-ounce bottle of water, and I'm on my water and I'm on my coffee all day. I'm hydrating. I'm reading my goals. I'm reading my affirmations. I shower. I get ready for work, whether it's a polo or a shirt, and I'm in my computer. If I have an appointment or I don't have an appointment, I'm in my computer. And if I don't have an appointment, if I don't have a client, I'm calling teammates. I'm calling agents. I'm calling clients, and I'm getting in business mode. I realize a lot of people don't win in business because their business mode starts too late in the day. My business mode starts literally 24/7. And I just want to encourage you that whatever you lack in talent, you can make up in numbers. This is coming from a guy that used to be a server, didn't speak English, didn't own a car, barely had a social security number, didn't have support from his family members, and decided to come into an industry that he didn't know anything about, that no one in the industry looks like him. Majority of people are 2 to 3 times older than him. Majority of people have a different physique and look than he does. And regardless of the matter, decided to go to win. Because I tell you, in this country, in the land of opportunity, in the United States of America, you can be whoever the heck you want to be. And we got to stop blaming and pointing fingers at others. Here you are where you're at for a reason. And I want to challenge you that you take ownership on that. And I knew one thing. I was not foolish. When I walked in the financial industry, I knew that the white guy that was older, that had the look, somebody was going to trust him with their money more than they were going to trust me. And I knew that somebody with 10 years of experience was going to be able to get better clientele than me. And I knew that when I sat down in front of clients, they were going to ask me, how old am I? How much experience do I got? And you know what? That was not going to hold me back. Because I tell you one thing, this has been my motto. Whatever I lacked in talent, I put up in numbers. Whatever I lacked in skill, I put up in numbers. Whatever I lack in experience, I'll put up in numbers. So I didn't have experience, but I had all the time in the day, but I had time. And you know what I also had? I had a drive. And I remember I saw a guy, his name used to be Rob. And I'm like, I would always go to his office at 9 and say, hey, Rob, how many calls did you do today? He's like, oh, I made about 100 calls today. That was my new minimum mark for the next day. If Rob made 100 calls and he was 55, white, and with experience, I knew I had to outwork him if one day I wanted to get the same result he got. I had to put in more work to get the same results. So I would make 150 calls. And if he lived at 9, I would leave at 9:30. And if he showed up at 8, I would show up at 7:30. And if he was reading a book, I was reading 2 books. I just knew I had an uphill battle. And you know what I didn't know? That one day, all this work will compound. And now, this gentleman, who's an amazing friend of mine, he does 1/6 of what my business does. And his income is 1/6 of what my income is. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to show you that temporary failure and temporary sacrifice is going to equal permanent success. I was willing to pay the price early on in my career. I had to listen to tapes. I had to motivate myself, but I knew that one day it was all going to be worth it. And I tell you, I believe the fun is just beginning. But I want to challenge you to have a strong morning routine. I want to challenge you to outwork the competition. Look, a lot of people on my team, they go, Mario, well, it's easy for you because you're so good now and you speak well and like people edify you so well and people bring you clients that are ready to sign up and you have experience and you know what to do. And I'm like, don't forget where I started. I started where you're at. I'm sorry I'm making it look easy, but you have no idea what I went through. Every majority of the stuff you're going through, I probably went through or somebody that I trained went through it. And I want you to understand the path to success has 1,000 different routes. It all ends on the same destination, but it all requires the same thing, determination and hard work. And if you don't hard work, they say that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And my last but not least, I just want to tell you, we have 2 more, sorry. The best ability, it's availability. Man, I am so quick at responding to my phone. It's unfreaking believable. One thing that one of my pet peeves is when I call someone and, oh, I'm busy, sorry, I can't get back. No one's too busy. Let me just make this clear. No one is too busy. Maybe you're too busy giving excuses. Maybe you're too busy not making money. Maybe you're too busy watching TV. Maybe you're too busy babysitting. Maybe you're too busy cooking. But I'm never too busy. Let me just tell you one thing. I'm never too busy. I had a client call me today at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was in the middle of my run. I ignored the call. The second I finished my workout, my heart's still racing, and I pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, sorry, I was in the middle of my workout. How can I help you? Mario, this, and this. The best ability is availability. I have people all the time. Mario, do you have time to meet today? Yes, I have time. No, I don't have time, but I have time at this times. The best ability is availability. And a lot of you, you're not available enough. They say if you want to make a 5-figure income, like majority of people do, 50,000 a year, 70,000 a year, 90,000 a year. You want to make a 5-figure income, work 5 days a week. You want to make a 6-figure income, work 6 days a week. You want to make a 7-figure income, work 7 hours a week, work 7 days a week. On Sunday, I had an appointment at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and a conference call for over 400 people at noon. And then I took the second half of the day off. I pre-recorded my church service. I watched it. I went to the cigar shop, watched a little bit of sports, decompressed, pre-planned my week. Let's get back to it. And you know what I love? I don't got to go anywhere. I can do it from the comfort of my home. I get to deduct It started as one of my guest rooms as my office. Now I have 2 of my guest rooms as my office. Now my loft is my studio. And half my mortgage is going to be deducted just because my entire business is running from home. It's unbelievable. Well, the last thing, everything could change and look, let me just tell you, it could be the perfect time. You could be in the perfect industry. You can have the perfect system. You can have the perfect mentorship. But if you're not a better version of yourself, none of that matters. Best time, best leadership, best compensation, best industry, best everything. If you're not the best you, it doesn't matter. And I knew one thing, the Mario that got me here is not gonna get me to where I wanna go. And one of the things that I'm obsessed with personal development. I'm obsessed with chasing the best version of myself. I tell you, people say, Mario, why you work so hard? Why are you so, sometimes you're so like freaking, almost like frustrated. Like, are you mad at the money that you're making? He's like, Mario, you make 7 figures a year. Are you not happy? Says happiness does not come from the income that you make. Happiness comes from the fulfillment of meeting the person you know you could be. And it's not that I'm frustrated with my income. I'm actually very blessed and grateful for my income. But the reason why I'm so fired up about where I'm going, and it's not, people say, when is enough enough? It's not about enough ever being enough. I'm not chasing an amount. I'm chasing greatness. You follow me? I'm not chasing look, this is what I realized. When I was making $250,000 a year, when I was like 23 or 24 years old, I was like, this is not even the best me. I got so much more in me. I'm way worth more than $250,000. And then I got paid $500,000. I'm like, all right, I'm getting good at this. But I got a lot left in me. Then we got to 750, and I kind of like stagnated around there. Now my 1099 has been over $1 million the last couple of years. And I'm like, and this is just getting good. And I'm back to working 10 to 15 appointments. I was making that kind of income doing 10 appointments a week, or maybe 6 appointments a week. Now I'm doing 10 appointments a day. My vision is by the time I'm 40 years old, my personal income is going to be $1 million a month, but I'm not excited about my income. I'm excited about the fact that we're going to have 5,000 plus agents across the nation, and at least 500 of them are going to be making a 6-figure income. And through our business and through our vision, we're going to change the face of the financial industry. And it's much bigger than money. It's about educating our community. So I wanted to be the best version of myself. So I got into 75 Hard. And I'm going to end with this. This is by an actual influencer. His name is Andy Frisella. He's a great guy. I'm a part of his mentoring group. But there was one thing about this. He rolled out a program called 75 Hard. And I'm the guy that has been chubby the last 9 years. Why? Because I eat pretty good and I don't work out. And my excuse is like, yeah, a lot of the fit guys are broke. So at least I have a fat pocket. That used to be my saying. And I used to excuse the fact that I was a little chubby. And Andy said, if you're sick of where you're at, you need to follow this program. You're being a little B, you can fill in the blank. You're being a little and if nothing changes, nothing changes. This program is going to change your life. And he started, in his podcast, he curses a lot about why you got to do it. And I said, you know what? It's been a really long time since I've done a challenge. I haven't been challenged in a long time. I haven't been out of my comfort zone that much in a really long time. And I decided to do it last April. I was about 260 pounds. Today, I'm 206 pounds. What it was 75 days. And people say, Mario, you lost a lot of weight. You look great. It's not about the looks and it's not about the weight. It was the mental clarity. It was the mental strength. It was the self-confidence. It was the way I felt about myself. It was the way that I reflected my energy on others. And all that it was get super uncomfortable for 75 days in a row. And you know what I realized? Hundreds of people told me, I'll do it with you. And hundreds of people didn't finish it. And that's what raised my confidence. You see, one of my mottos is, I do because you don't. I wake up early because I know you don't. I work weekends because I know you don't. I literally call anyone and anyone because I know you don't. I'm willing to take notes because I know you won't. I'm willing to do whatever it takes because I know you won't. And because of that, I just keep telling myself this. I am wired differently. I'm meant to change the world. This world's supposed to be a better place because I'm around. And because of that attitude, I just pushed myself so much. For 75 days, I drank a freaking gallon of water every day. And if you miss one day, you got to start back at day one. I drank a gallon of water. I did 2 45-minute workouts that had to be at separate times. One had to be outside. I was reading a minimum of 10 pages every single day. I had to follow a diet for 75 days without breaking a single day or a single cheat day. And I had to take a daily progress picture of myself daily. And you might say, well, what? Look, I don't know. I never questioned why those rules were put that way. I didn't care. I don't know much about workouts. I don't know much about anything. I knew one thing. I wanted my life to change. And if this guy said that your life will change if you follow this program, I decided to follow the program. I'm on my third roundabout. And every time I do it, I just feel like my energy is better. I don't know if you can feel me right now, but I'm like, I just love doing stuff that most people don't do. Because when I do what other people don't do, that raises me, that gives me the confidence to feel worthy enough of receiving things that most people won't. And I tell you one thing, if I can do this, you can do this. There's nothing different between you and I. Maybe it's just the people we're around, the things that we listen to, the things that we watch, and the actions that we take every day. But I believe, John, as I'm wrapping up, I believe that God planted a seed of greatness on every single one of you that are on this call today. We have 280 people, and I'm looking at the wrong number. We have over 500 people on this call, and hear this. Every single person on this call, if you believe in God, and I'm not preaching, God planted a seed of greatness inside of you. But the reality is that your associations, what you've been through, life has been bearing that seed deep inside of you to the point that you forgot you got it. And can I tell one thing? It's time for you to dust it off. It's time for you to start watering that seed of greatness again. It's time for you to start pouring belief into you. It doesn't matter how many people believe in you if you don't believe in you. I just want you to know if I can be successful in this business world, you can be successful in this business world. You got what it takes. We need more good people in this nation, and I think it can start with you. So with that, thank you guys so much. John, I appreciate you having me on the call.
Oh my God. Are you sure you're drinking water, man? Or what else is in that thing? It's like, boom, holy smokes, man. We're like feeling that energy. Can you guys imagine what you would have felt like if you were sitting in front of him in his desk and you're getting that energy through a virtual platform? And talk about some of the nuggets he just dropped. I mean, I hope you guys were taking some great, great notes. I hope you guys felt his genuineness of where he was and what he had to do to get to where he's at today, right? And that's it. Do you feel it? So it's real. So one of the things about Mario, just so you guys know, is you're not that passionate if you just inherit something, right? Because you didn't do it. You know what I mean? Whereas Mario did it. Like, I remember the days where he was struggling and he was, he came around with like a book and he's like, oh, what do you do? He was always, one thing he's really good at also is asking lots of questions, and guess what? He never gave up. Hey, Mario, did you ever have people say, no, I don't think you should do it. Go get a job. Did that ever happen to you? You're involved in some gimmick or you don't do this. Does that ever happen to you?
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
Well, you guys, we have just a look at this. Wow, Mario, he's energized. Awesome. It's a great message here. All right, let's see. Thank you so much, John. Your whole team is going to always learn something and implement it right away. Oh, thank you, Carla. You guys, let's just do 2 questions here, just due to time. And then I'm going to just answer the first 2 questions. So whoever types in as quick as you can. Right now, first 2 questions, we're going to answer 2 questions. Okay, we'll do 3 real fast. And then Mario's going to give us the quick response to 3 questions you guys got. So we're waiting on you. 3 questions from all of you guys. Going once. Come on now. Let's see. No questions? That's shocking. Was he that good? He answered all your questions before they even came up. All right, here we go. Biggest thing you had to change about yourself, Mario? Was it what did you have to change? What was your bad habit? What is your biggest thing you had to change about yourself?
That's a great question. I feel like I had all the right things. I was just around the wrong circles. So the first thing I had to change was the circle. My whole life since I was a kid, I wanted to be somebody and I knew it. But around the circles that I was around, talking about being somebody was kind of like, dude, shut up. Just have a beer. And it was just the wrong groups of people. And they told me they told me early in my career, Mario, you either change your friends or you change your friends. And it's kind of interesting. When I got started into business and I started calling them and wanting to get their support, people disappear quickly. I was getting 20, 30 calls every weekend when we used to go out. And then when business started, the goals quickly disappeared. People quickly stopped answering their phones. And I was almost like shocked. You know what? I think it was a blessing in disguise. It allowed me to separate myself. It allowed me to find a new group of people that were focused. And I don't think I would be here without those associations. And I would say the number one thing I had to change was my environment.
Okay, awesome. Number 2, what was your biggest challenge? Kind of in line, biggest thing that you had to change, but what was your biggest challenge from Anna Cortez?
I mean, some people call it challenges. I just call it highlights. My challenges was that I didn't speak English. My challenges were that I didn't have a car. My challenges was that I was 19. My challenges was that I didn't speak much English. But at the same time, like, I don't know, John, I never looked at them as challenges. I just looked at it, that's another thing I gotta get through so I can get to where I wanna go. I found them almost like speed bumps, not necessarily as challenges. Challenges is something that you're faced with. I knew coming in the business world, these things were gonna just kind of force me to have to work harder. So it's kind of interesting. I really believe that people's hardships or people's struggles in business ends up becoming the highlight of their story when they win. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question, but definitely the language, the age, the lack of support, the not having a vehicle, all that stuff.
Great. All right. Okay. This is from Jeremy Benton, and Jeremy says, what would you say to someone who's putting in the work, but is still failing? What is your best advice? Can you give up about perseverance?
All right. Ready? 90% of people do 90% of things right. And that's why they fail. I put a quote yesterday, and I want to read it. I'm reading a book right now by John Maxwell, and it reads this. And sorry that I'm reading out of it, but he said, successful people do every day what unsuccessful people do some days. And what I mean by that, you just gotta know that if you keep putting in the work, it's eventually gotta happen. I believe that majority of people never get to where they want to go because they give up too quickly, and they give up too quickly because where they have their eyes set on. You see, a lot of people have their eyes set on the past. I used to be this, and I was the prom king, and I was the prom queen, and I went through a lot in a childhood. I was abused, and you keep thinking about the past. And I feel like when people think about the past, it's a depressing thought. Whether it was good or bad, it's depressing because you're not there anymore. But when you think about the present, you're always frustrated because no one is where they want to be. I tell you, I know how wealthy John is, and I know how amazing his life is, and I think I know 50% of how it actually is. So I can only imagine how amazing his life is. And I bet you, if you were to ask John right now, are you 100% satisfied with all your business achievements? I believe he'll tell you that he still believes there's a lot more in him. So when you think about the present, you usually find frustration. But when you think about the future, you find excitement. And I realized that I remained excited for a long time because I was always telling myself, man, it's going to be great one day. One day you're going to drive your dream car. Man, one day money's not going to be an issue. One day you're going to have a phone number as your bank account number. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be that many digits. So I think I just stayed focused on what it was going to be like. And I stayed focused on that longer than others. And it's starting to come to reality.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Those were our 3 questions there. You know what? I mean, these are just, I said first 3 people, and they keep on coming in. All right, here we go. Here's some questions. Just quick yes or no, or, one-liners, okay? Just so we can get through all these people, and then we'll be done. We're just going to do, God, look at all these questions coming up. All right, here we go. First one is from Heather Atkinson. She says, are you doing any group benefits policies, or are you primarily using referrals from your base?
I mainly use referrals from my base.
Okay, great. How do you overcome objections that came from older people who saw you as too young to take advice from?
With confidence and with understanding that it was not my expertise that they were following. It was the expertise of the people I was mentored by. So when somebody said, well, how old are you? I said, do you care about how old I am or how much I can help you? Plus, I think the fact that I'm young is the best thing for you. Because can we agree that it's going to be a point in your life where you're going to go to the mailbox and you're going to forget what you went there for? So yeah. I said, what's going to happen when your advisor is that age? And when you call him, where's your money? He's going to go, well, I don't remember. Or they're already retired. You're going to want a guy like me that will remember, will be young, and will still be doing it to help you guide you with the right direction. So it was just confidence. Once I learned the product and once I believed in myself, it didn't matter what they said. They read my confidence and they knew that they were in good hands.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Mario. We appreciate you and appreciate all you continue to do. You are a huge inspiration to the younger generation. Keep it going. I know I'll be speaking to your team here in about 2 weeks. I look forward to that. And say hello to your beautiful wife, Lisa, for me. And appreciate you being on the call with everyone here. Can we give everybody, can we all like do the thumbs up thing or whatever? Give them a big round of applause. There we go. Awesome.
Appreciate you,
Mario.
Appreciate you, John. Have a blessed night.
All right. Take care, buddy. All right. There you go, you guys. Mario Bayona. This is his Instagram here. Let me just share it with you guys. So go ahead and follow Mario. He's always got some good nuggets that he can share with you. And then I just wanted to let you know, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, here is why I think people are poor. The word poor is an acronym that stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. And so I think this is your moment. I believe this is your time where you need to stop looking over opportunities. This is about as good as it's going to get, I think, for you. I really do. I think if you look over this opportunity, and working with me, working with my organization, I don't know. I wish you all the best, but I think it'll be a huge mistake. In fact, I know it'll be a huge mistake. So let me just tell you, there are some signs that you know you'll be rich. Okay, here's the signs that you'll be rich. Okay, number one is you always do more, you know, and Mario kind of referred to it, you know, always want to do more. And so that's a sign. Do you feel like you're always wanting to do more? You know, or do you think you're kind of comfortable where you're at right now? Number two, you're always open to new opportunities. I know I am. I'm always, you know, keeping an open mind. And I feel like I'm in a pretty good situation financially in my life. But I'm wondering if you're open to new opportunities, right? Number three is you set and reach your goals. So do you like say, okay, this month I'm going to do this. This month I'm going to do that. And do you do it, right, at the end of the month and know that you hit your monthly goals? Number four is, are you learning new skills? Because if you're not learning new skills, how do you expect to get any better? You're going to stay bitter and not get better, okay? So you got to learn some new skills. Number five is you save, right, to invest money. You save your money and you invest it in the right places. And I love to have you join me on Thursdays, not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursdays, excuse me, so I can actually show you how to invest your money wisely, okay? And number six is, do you improve every day? Do you feel like every day you're getting better in all areas of your life? Do you feel like you're being the best son? Do you feel like you're being the best brother, the best sibling, okay? Do you feel like you're being the best husband, boyfriend, okay? Do you think you're being the best leader? Do you think you're being the best father to your kids? Mother, et cetera, et cetera. Do you feel like you're the best daughter? I mean, you know what I'm saying here, okay? So I hope these are some ideas, the signs that you know that you'll be rich. Folks, I want you to know that this coming Saturday, I've got another amazing podcast called Shin-tastic Saturday. I think that when you join me this coming Saturday and listen to what I'm going to share with you, you're just going to be blown away. I think this Saturday might be one of my best subject matters that I've taught all year since March, since we started Shin-tastic Saturday. So don't miss out. Join us at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Though on the right-hand side, it says 11 o'clock. That is an error. So we're going to, it's 10 o'clock, okay? We moved the time. It's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that is a typo. And we are changing that right now as we speak. I'm not sure what happened to my screen. Completely disappeared on my screen here. So, but I think it's good on your screen. Okay. Finally, next Tuesday, let me just tell you, this guy right here, his name is Mark Lack, and Mark Lack will be joining us next Tuesday. And I want you guys to know that if you find out who this person is, he is an expert on branding, going out there and branding yourself in the industry, social media, you name it, click funnels, sales funnels, everything you can think of. He's like the guy. If you think of some of the biggest names in this space, in the branding world, this is the guy that everyone goes to when they say, oh yeah, I'm a branding guy, or I'm a sales funnel guy. Like, this is the main guy who really does it. This guy is the king in the industry. Some of you guys are like, well, Russell Brunson, he's really good. Yeah, well, this guy is like right up there, with Russell, if not even better than Russell Brunson. So you definitely want to listen to this. This guy charges big money to make public appearances. Literally charges thousands and thousands of dollars. And he's going to be joining us next week on Tuesday. Highly, highly recommend you guys all tune in and listen to what Mark's got to say. Okay, and then finally, don't forget to register for the October 23rd movie screening. And that link is right there. And other than that, let's see here. This is my contact information. And, you got my email. You've got my phone number there. As I said, please reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. And, of course, you can always DM me as well. And, on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever it is. I hope you guys got a ton of value, guys, today from Mario. Send him a quick message on his Instagram feed and thank him for it. I appreciate the messages you guys have been sending me in the last hour and a half. Listen, we're praying for you guys. We're rooting for you. We know that you guys will go out there and conquer your future. Just be patient, right? I got my ring devices set up, and as it's reprogramming itself, it comes on and says, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I want you to know that, it'll take a little bit of time. Just like Mario. Mario's been an entrepreneur now for almost 16 years. So it will happen to you. Just be patient. And I feel like the future is going to be extremely bright for all of you. God bless every one of you guys. Have a beautiful evening with your family, what's left of it. Thanks for joining me tonight. We'll see you guys next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless. Take care, everyone.